What's good, y'all? It's your boy AJ. Welcome back to another video. This one's a little different. We're gonna be dabbling into 4 really creepy true Home Alone stories. Apparently it's true, so we're gonna see if it's true and have a good time doing so. Hopefully you guys got your snacks. Matter of fact, before I get started, I know some of y'all not good enough to get your snacks. Go ahead and get your snacks. I'll wait. Oh, you still sitting there? Go ahead and get your snacks. I'll wait. Yeah, you watching the video. There we go. Welcome back. Let's get it. By the way, 3,000 subscribers. I'm going live. Let's get it. Story 1. Here we go.
I live in Sydney, Australia. This happened when I was 15 and home alone. It was about 9 p.m. and I was just coming out of the bathroom when I heard my front gate swing open and my dog begin barking.
Ooh.
Across the hall, I saw someone run past the porch window and into the backyard.
They've been
I was able to
going.
vaguely make out what he looked like. He was hunched over, had sickly pale skin, was wearing all black, and had long messy black hair partially covering his face. I went into the living room to see what was going on. My dog was still at the front door growling. Since I hadn't seen the guy return, this meant he was still somewhere in my backyard. I waited at the door for a while, when another, more normal-looking guy walked onto the porch and came right up to the security bars. I don't remember all the details, but our conversation went something along the lines of him saying, "Hey, have you seen my friend?"
No.
I replied, "Yeah, I think he's in my backyard." He replied saying, "Okay, because I've been following this random guy all over the place. I think he's on drugs and might be dangerous." This struck me as weird though. What did he mean by this random guy when he had just called him his friend? He quickly walked away, going off into the darkness towards my yard. I should also mention that there's a door around back, but that also has security bars in front of it, and the door was locked at the time. I waited at the front door for a bit, then sat back down. After about 2 minutes of waiting,
Hold on. Matter of fact, why would you even answer the door in the first place? Don't talk to no strangers, man. Have your parents ever taught you that growing up? If you get left home alone, what's the first thing they always say? Don't let nobody in and don't talk to strangers, man. And what are you doing? Talking to strangers, creepy strangers. They going all in your backyard. Ooh, man.
With walked back onto the porch and looked in through the security bars. He now had the pale, potentially drugged out guy with him, who was pacing back and forth in an agitated manner.
Bro, that is...
I went to the door to see what he wanted. He said, "Hey, sorry man, I just found him. Look, he's really nervous, and he'd like if you unlocked the door and came out here, just so he could see that you're harmless."
No!
I felt a pain in my chest.
You better not open the door.
The creepy, drugged out guy had stopped pacing now, and was standing unnaturally still, staring me dead in the eyes. There was an uncomfortable silence. I didn't say anything, but stepped forward to push the French door shut, causing the second guy to lunge at me and shove his hand through the bars towards me. I jumped back and slammed the door shut with my foot, bolting it. I called my parents, and they called the police. The 2 men had gone. When the police arrived, they told me about a break-in that had occurred just down the street less than an hour ago. As far as I know, they never found the 2 guys. Looking back, it's likely that the first guy ran into the backyard to try to find a way in, and the second guy went to help him, which is why they were back there for so long.
Bro.
What disturbs me is the fact that they didn't want to just break in, nor did the fact that I was home deter them. They wanted me to come outside to them, or to get into where I was.
Bro, what a dummy, man. There was a whole bunch of red flags in that one story, man. Dude, if you're a kid, or even if you're not a kid, do not do what this dude did. Like, bro, everything he did was a violation, bro. You don't talk to strangers. If they ask you to open the door, don't open the door. This dude did the opposite of what I just said. Do not be this dude, man, or you're gonna get got. You're never gonna be seen again. Bro. Hope his blinds wasn't open.
It was a Thursday night. My mom was working a late shift at the hospital. My two brothers were away at college, so for the time being, I had the house to myself. I had a couple friends over. We watched a baseball game, had a few beers, and they left through the back door. I went upstairs to the kitchen to put the remainder of the beers in the fridge and get ready for bed. I went to bed shortly after, and after a while of laying down trying to actually fall asleep, I heard light footsteps coming up the stairs outside my room.
Up the stairs?
My mom was home. I heard her cough as she passed my bedroom door and entered the bathroom. Then she went back downstairs to the kitchen and started making a lot of racket with the cabinets and dishes and whatnot. I was way too lazy to get out of bed to go down there and ask her to keep it down, so I just texted her instead to stop making so much noise. I put my phone back on my desk and flipped on my side to try to get comfortable. Then I heard footsteps coming back upstairs, quickly. My bedroom door opened, and my mom stepped into my room. The hallway light outside my room wasn't on, so I couldn't make eye contact with my mom. But when I looked up, I saw my mom's figure. She stood by the doorway, looking kind of slouched over.
Bro.
I told her to stop making so much damn noise in a rather annoyed tone.
Why are you talking to your mom like that?
She didn't respond. I sat up and said, "Mom?" A vibration on my desk let me know I got a text, and given that it was pretty late, I naturally checked my phone to see who it was.
That's not your mom
It
in
was
the
from
house.
my mom. She said, "I'm still at work." I dropped my phone onto my bed as I looked up at the doorway. That person standing at my doorway wasn't my mom. Even though I was panicking, I had to think on my feet.
Bruh, you know what I'm thinking you should do? Let someone break into my house. You're gonna be met with one of these. A katana wood stick, man. I always keep this by my bed too, man. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? Bah, 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 bah. Go for them kneecaps. Bah, bah, bah. You know what I'm saying? If you break into my house, you will get met with one of these, man. Hey, this thing is lethal. Bro, I'm saying, let me catch someone in my house without me knowing, bro. Ooh, man, them kneecaps gonna be gone, man.
I said, "Mom, I need to get to sleep. Get out." I said this because I wanted to play dumb, act like I had no suspicion that someone had broken in. The person at my doorway didn't move, so I picked up my phone, texted my mom in a panic, saying there's someone in the house, I mistook them for her, and to call the police right now. My mom replied back, "Okay," in a matter of seconds. Something then broke the silence in the room. The voice of a woman, crackly and rough. She started saying something. It sounded to me like she was saying, "Don't know where to go," over and over.
Yeah, I know where you need to go.
Her voice started getting louder as I realized she was approaching my bed.
Ooh.
I screamed, "Get back," as I fumbled for the lamp switch next to my bed.
Dude still in bed? What are you doing?
As the light turned on, I was faced with some old woman with white, wiry hair, with her wrinkled hands reached out at me, approaching my bed, repeating that phrase, "Don't know where to go."
Get out of my house. That's where you need to
Get away
go.
from me, as it seemed as though she was about to attack me. I jumped off the bed and ran out of the room and held my door shut. Seconds later, I felt her trying to push the door open as I put all my weight up against it to keep it shut.
What?
She started screaming, "I need to get out," and started banging on the door.
Get out. That's not the way
I held
out.
this position for the longest time, and she was relentless. My mom kept calling my phone, but I couldn't pick it up. It wasn't until the cops arrived and knocked on the front door that I let go of the bedroom door and ran to them. The old woman immediately came rushing after me, but as I opened the door and yelled at the cops to stop her, they immediately pinned her against the wall. She was in cuffs and was put in the police car.
What she look like
Told them
though?
everything that happened.
Was she bad though?
They
Was she a
said based on
baddie?
how she was behaving and what I told them, she would need to be identified and evaluated to
Got so many
determine if she was
questions.
mentally ill, and it later turned out she was, to no surprise. I found out later that night after the cops left that after my friends left through the back door, I forgot to lock it, and that was how she managed to simply walk into my house.
What?
It's definitely scarred me mentally in the sense that anytime I hear something in my room while sleeping, I have to look up and make sure somebody isn't standing on the other side.
Bro, first thing I'm doing when I'm home alone, even if I'm not home alone, I'm gonna make sure I always lock the doors, always lock the windows and any other sorts of entrance, man. Bro, you gotta do that because if you don't, this will happen to you, man. You don't want to get snatched up in your sleep. That's a no-no.
Before moving off on my own to California, I lived basically in the middle of nowhere on my dad's ranch in Colorado. It was a beautiful, huge property. I just never loved living in a rural setting. I found it boring. Plus, as that old cartoon Courage the Cowardly Dog stated, creepy things happen in the middle of nowhere.
That is facts.
There had been a number of times that people had trespassed on our property, which is why my dad owned 3 different guns. There was one time he had to chase 2 men off the property with his rifle. What I'm about to tell you happened a few years back. I think it was in the middle of June. I was home alone as my parents were on vacation together and my little brother was out with friends or at his girlfriend's house for the night. I don't remember. It was a hot night for Colorado, so I had all the windows open. I used to go to sleep pretty late around that time, so I think it was around 1 in the morning. I was still in the living room watching TV when I noticed the motion sensing patio light turn on outside. This light would only turn on due to very noticeable movement by a person. So immediately I assumed it was my little brother returning home. To be safe, I got up and looked out the window. I didn't see anyone though. I took out my cell phone and called my brother real quick. He didn't pick up. So I went to sit back down. Then it started. The knocking at the front door. Our door had a peephole because obviously anyone coming to our house went out of their way to get there, so we'd need to know who was there before opening the door. When I went to go peek through the peephole, I didn't see anyone, so I'm immediately thinking ding dong ditch. Possibly some local punky kids, possibly my brother. I was hoping the second was the case. I shut the blinds now because I became paranoid that I was being watched. I shot my brother a text saying if I find out it's you, I'm not letting you in.
That's tough.
Moments later, there was a knock right behind my head. So loud I actually jumped off the couch. It was a knock at the living room window, followed by what I can best describe to be 2 voices. One a deep male voice, one a higher pitched female voice, saying "we see you" simultaneously.
Why is your blinds open?
Heart racing. I imagined it to be the most wishful thing I could think of, that it was my little brother and his girlfriend messing with me. In the moment it made sense, or maybe I just wanted it to make sense. The banging on the window didn't stop there, it kept going, but it moved to another window. This time the window in the dining room, where I didn't shut the blinds.
Why are you not shutting the
angle
blinds?
I was standing at, I could see 2 figures at the window, but no chance could I see anything about their faces. I didn't look at them as I ran upstairs to my dad's room to get one of his guns from under his bed. He told me exactly where he kept it just in case of an emergency.
You gotta use it.
I loaded the rifle and ran downstairs to the dining room window, but they weren't standing there anymore. With a loaded gun, I felt a lot more confident in opening that front door and going outside to confront the situation.
Do not do that. No.
When I stepped outside, I decided I'd do one full quick lap around the house and check on the cattle. I was no marksman, but I had the protective instincts for the property, and I was ready to use the gun if I needed to. The whole property seemed clear, and the cattle were fine. So I went back inside, checked every door, and went to bed upstairs.
Now they're inside somewhere.
For half an hour, peace and quiet, until I heard a disturbing sound come from downstairs and outside.
You're still outside? Oh my
Someone
God.
was frantically pounding at the front door downstairs, accompanied with a man shouting at the top of his lungs.
Still
not
don't open the
shouting
door.
words or anything, just screaming. I grabbed the rifle next to my bed, ran to the living room window, pushed it open, and fired a round outside into the dark night.
Ooh.
The screaming and pounding stopped, and I heard 2 sets of footsteps quickly stomp off the wooden porch. And then there was nothing but the sound of the night crickets. The rest of the night, nothing happened. Actually, nothing ever happened again until I moved out. But it was not my brother and his girlfriend. I found out the next day. My dad was proud of me when he heard I protected the property. I'm just grateful my dad has those guns, and I only agreed with his owning them even more after that.
Yeah, man. You can never be too safe, man. Especially in the middle of nowhere, man. You're not safe out there.
was home alone one night in the spring. I was on a FaceTime call with my friend, at one point pacing back and forth in my room. When I passed the window and looked outside at one point, I saw someone outside on the street, just standing there, facing my house, facing my window.
The heck is that?
I looked a little more carefully and determined he was looking up right at my window.
Is he in the costume or
I
something
told
like that?
my friend Jordan on the FaceTime call and tried to show her. She said she couldn't see him but to call my mom and dad. So I hung up with Jordan and continued to look out at the man for a few more seconds. Then I walked away from the window to my bed and called my mom. I had woken her up because it was like midnight. In short, she told me to just turn off my lights and shut the blind and he would go away. So that's what I did. But after a few minutes of dying in curiosity, I had to get up, lift the blinds, and peep outside.
Why, man?
The man was now on the sidewalk, closer to my house, still looking up at my window. Now I called the police, and the operator asked me if the man was holding any weapons. I said not that I could tell. The operator then told me to ignore it, and if he didn't leave within 10 minutes, or if he stepped onto my property, to call the police again. She also told me that a patrol car would pass by my house just to scare off the man should he still be out there. So I hung up the phone and crawled into my bed. I called my friend Jordan back, and we talked on FaceTime while I was in my bed for about 5 minutes. She told me it was time to go check the window again, and so I did. And this time, the man was gone. I stood by the window with the blinds now up, waiting for the police car to pass my house. It took about 5 to 10 minutes of standing there on FaceTime with Jordan before I saw a police patrol car come down the block, stop briefly in front of my house, and the little spotlight on the side of the car being moved around my property and a few neighboring properties. The cop car drove away soon after, and that was that. That told me the man was gone, not on my property. So after finishing my FaceTime call with Jordan, we hung up and I went to bed. After laying in my bed for a solid 20 minutes, I heard a creaking or a cracking-like sound coming from outside. I got out of bed and looked out the window.
I don't sound like it's outside.
So again, I went back to bed. A few more minutes went by, and there was another cracking sound coming from outside, this time louder.
Bro.
I looked over to the window from my bed and was in total shock when I saw a figure at my window.
Oh!
I have an upstairs bedroom, and suddenly the cracking noises made sense. He had been climbing up the side of my house.
What?
I went to the other window and screamed help over and over, hoping my neighbors would hear. I also got on the phone with 911 again and told them to send another car right away.
Do I have to grab it again? Do I have to grab it again? Bro, your kneecaps look smashable, man. I'm gonna grab the thing again and freaking freak out of your kneecaps, man. Bro, you climbing to my window.
Attempted to squeeze through the opening in the window, but seemingly gave up when he noticed one of my neighbors outside yelling something.
This dude is a maniac.
The next time I looked at the window, he was gone. And according to my elderly neighbor who came to my aid, the man jumped down and ran away down the street. Cops came once again. This time I spoke to them and gave them all the info they needed. They said they'd be patrolling the immediate area all night and went on their way. I didn't get any sleep that night, but I think that man was scared off for good.
And hey, if you want to take anything from this video, do not be like any of these people in this video, man. They do the complete opposite of what you should do, man. Do not talk to strangers. Do not open the door. Bro, the only thing they did right was call the police. That's all they did right, man. Whatever, just don't open the door at all. Like, if you look out the window, okay, they're outside, you see them, don't open the door, okay? Leave the door closed. You're safe inside. If you hear them break a window, then go ahead and grab a knife, a weapon, or something, and then, like, protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, don't open the door. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please smack the like button, subscribe today to join the AA, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.